Hey, welcome to episode 3. I'm Josh Becker, and with me once again is Brevin Becker.
Hi.
Right off the top, looking back at episode 2, we didn't get a whole lot of feedback on that, but the feedback that we did get was predominantly coming out against the man bun. They were deriding us for the man bun, but I just want to make sure people know why we did the man bun thing. For those who've been following, you might remember this from episode 1.
Next is from Haley. So, do you wear a man bun? If you will, if not, will you wear one? So I can see.
Tell you what, I will do a man bun on a different video coming up just so that Haley can check it out. And so then we decided, and when I say we, I mean I, that we would just do a man bun for episode 2. And I asked Brevin to do it, and he's like, "Yeah." No, that's not exactly your reaction, but he's a good boy. He followed Daddy's directions. So we did the man bun throughout episode 2, and didn't say anything about it until the very end, where I added this little bit of text to the screen there. So that explains it. Now I know that the criticisms were not exactly meant to be all that serious. So there's no need to be all serious about it. But I did want to address that and make sure people knew exactly what the heck was going on there. So, all right, next order of business, we'll talk a little bit of music. Last time you reported that you had done a fill-in gig as the drummer for a band called Your Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot has happened since then. Explain what has happened since then?
Yeah, I have now become their permanent drummer, and it's pretty awesome. I played a couple more shows with them, and we have a pretty busy booked summer.
Awesome. And I understand you had a guest keyboard player for a show?
Yes, we did. It was you.
Oh, yeah, it was me. The keyboard player, Bill Anderson, was not able to play a certain show. I think it was back on April 14th. And so I played keyboards for the night in Fort Atkinson. That was a lot of fun. And congratulations on the new gig.
Thank you.
And again, they have one of the best website names of all time. Tell them where they can find out more about Your Mom.
At yourmomwasgreatlastnight.com.
Darn right. All right, switching gears here. Here's a topic that occurred to me recently. People like to use the word delusion or delusional kind of loosely in discussions, but I learned a bit about delusional behavior a couple years back when we had an issue with an old friend who was demonstrating clinically delusional behavior. So I learned a little bit about it, and it's very interesting because delusions are things that people believe that aren't true, but they really believe them, and you cannot talk them out of it. And in general, delusions are never completely broken, they're just dealt with. And that got me thinking about things like, how do I know I'm not deluded? If the deluded person doesn't know they're deluded, how do any of us know that we're not deluded? You ever think of that?
No.
Okay. Well, I think, somebody once told me that if you are aware enough to even ask the question, then chances are you're probably not deluded. But also I figure, if you're not surrounded by people telling you that you're wrong about something, and I'm pretty sure I'm not, then chances are you're not deluded. Although, right now I'm sitting here in McFarland, and I'm thinking to myself, I have this very delightful wife and a nice house at home with a swimming pool, but I don't see them right now. So maybe those are delusions. I guess when I get home and there's the house and there's the swimming pool and here comes the wife, I'll be like, whew, I guess I'm not deluded after all. And you're not telling me that I'm wrong about those things, right? As far as you know, I have all those things?
Correct.
All right, so we're either right or mass delusion. So anyway, I think maybe the world would be a better place if more people went around questioning their own beliefs. I guess that's true on a great many levels. All right, so in the first couple episodes, I answered a lot of questions that were asked of me in the Ask Josh Anything. And a lot of the questions I would then turn and ask the same question to you, but not all of them. There's a couple that I probably should have but didn't. So I guess we could call this Ask Brevin Anything. So first up, just the whole idea, a lot of people ask questions along the lines of when did you know that music was important to you, and how did you get into it, and what does it mean to you now? Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, growing up in a musical family, it was always, I guess, an importance to me since as long as I can remember. I've always, like, when I was young, you remember me latching on to bands like Queen and AC/DC and stuff like that.
Hmm. I remember him jumping up on the bed. I mean, he was not 6'4". He was probably 4'6" at the time, taking a toy microphone and acting like Brian Johnson or Freddie Mercury. It was pretty cute. I wish I had pictures of that.
And,
You're probably glad that I don't.
and then I'd say kind of beginning of middle school, like around sixth grade, I was thinking about becoming kind of like a history major type person. That's what I kind of wanted to do at a young age. And then I got into really, really heavy metal music like Slipknot and stuff like that, which led me to more stuff more unknown bands like Amir and Parkway Drive, stuff like that. Some really heavy metal music, and I really liked that. And I was seeing these people do it and post these tour vlogs and stuff like that. And so, like around eighth grade, I was really wanting to do that for a career, and that's what I've been trying to pursue since.
So largely, it's a very similar answer to what I gave for myself. Grew up in a musical household, and it was always important. You can't remember a time when it wasn't. I do remember, I think you were 14, the first time we went to a Warped Tour.
Yes.
And how was that experience for you the first time we went? Because you've been there every year since, right?
No. I stopped going.
Oh, really?
Kind of got lame.
Okay, I got lame.
Yeah. But
Now, did the Warped Tour change, or did you change?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
But they this year's Warped Tour for this summer is actually have a really sweet lineup, and I'm
Okay.
definitely going.
Okay, but tell me about the experience of going to the Warped Tour for the first time. I know what my experience was like taking you there and seeing it, but what was it from your
well,
perspective?
I seen footage and stories about Warped Tour a lot, and I finally got to go, and it was awesome. There was to be able to see 20 bands that you've listened to online and stuff, and be able to just see them, all 20 of them in the same spot, is pretty awesome. It kind of sucks to have short sets, but it was definitely a very uh, inclusive crowd, and very awesome atmospheric and a lot of energy.
I definitely got the feeling that a lot of people that were at the event were probably kind of loners and castouts in their own schools and environments, but at Warped Tour, everybody was family. That's the impression I got. Now, you're wearing a Chelsea Gren shirt. That was the first band that we saw the first time we went to Warped Tour. They were playing as we walked in. You also got to see the band that was your favorite at the time, of Mice and Men, and their singer's name,
Austin Carlisle.
Austin Carlisle. That's right. I remember standing behind you in the pit, and Austin Carlisle making eye contact with you for several seconds. And what was that moment like? You were 14 years old at the time.
That was pretty awesome.
And then later you did get to meet them at a meet and greet. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm reminded, this whole thing reminds me of the fact that Korn is on tour right now in South America using a fill-in bass player. And as many of you might know, that fill-in bass player is 12-year-old Ty Trujillo, who is the son of Robert Trujillo, the bass player for Metallica, which is very, very interesting story. But it got us thinking, like, what can a 12-year-old do? And apparently he's doing a really good job. But like, when you were 12, do you think you would have been able to do something like that?
Probably not.
Really? I remember when you were 15, we got you to get up and play bass on "Don't Stop Believin'" with Cherry Pie at State Fair in front of a couple thousand people. What was that like for you?
That was really fun. I didn't really look at the crowd. It made it a lot easier.
Well, you were pretty nervous, but nerves can kind of go away after a little while. You get used to it, unless you have a phobia, which a lot of people do. But yeah, I look at this 12-year-old Ty rocking it out with Korn, and thinking about the musical developments for people like you and your brother and me and my brothers at a young age. And yeah, I think, it can be done, but I think, from one musical family to another, congratulations, Ty, and we wish you the best. It's a fun story to follow. So to get to more questions to you, what do you have going on other than music? And right now you have a part-time job that's not music related, but basically the question that was asked of me is, if you weren't doing music for a living, what would you be doing? Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah. A sailor, a mercenary shipping person, maritimer. I really like the boats and I like the water, and working on a boat is something that I'd love to do. That would definitely be my second thing to music, as far as finding a profession where I can enjoy it, because I don't like the idea of being in one spot, and being able to have a job where you can go around the world and be on a boat. It's pretty awesome. It's hard work, but it's worth it in my mind.
You're a natural born nomad, and you're cultivating the look. I mean, you look kind of like the guy on the fish sticks box, right? But you've never actually worked on a boat. You've looked into it. I could easily picture you getting the job. I mean, there's a certain romance to it. I kind of get that. I could picture you getting the job, and after the first day, going, "Oh, this is bullshit. This is." That could be
Mutiny.
Mutiny. All right, you'd be but that's it's interesting to talk about. But if your musical ambitions continue to play out as they have been, you probably never end up on that boat. So, but it is a fun thing to talk about. So, then one more question relating to all of this was the question of, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, you got a little something there. On the other side. Yeah, okay.
Can you get it for me? Yeah, my hair dangles down, so it's like
Okay, there's a
gets in my
bunch
nose.
in your beard here. Okay. All right. All right. So where were we? All right. I was asking you, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I do not see myself anywhere in 5 years. I look forward to the future, and looking into the future, I don't really know what holds for me. I could be on a boat, I could be doing music, I could be I don't know, something.
Hopefully something. Yes. All right. Well, I guess.
Yeah. It's I kind of don't have a full-on career set goal in mind, just kind of living life, doing what I
Okay.
like.
Well, I guess this will be the third episode in a row where I make reference to the classic cliche, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. And since you're aware of that, you're kind of like, why bother making plans then?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. So one more thing. If you could just, these are your glasses. Just put them on for a second there. I want people to see. This is what I call the LSD John Lennon. Yeah.
So the John Lennon.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, so let's see what else is going on. A couple weeks back, Donald Trump was in Kenosha. I saw a lot of people responding to that on Facebook, and just such silliness. On the one side, I've never been comfortable with anybody saying, "Not my president." People used to say it about Obama. It was silly then, it's silly now. On the other side, you have people saying, "Oh, show more respect for the office. You shouldn't criticize him. If you don't like it, get out of the country." That's even stupider. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's like, And you know, I don't tend to call people out individually, mainly because um, the one person that I call out might be the exception to the rule. Maybe they never criticized Obama and they've never criticized any president. But we know that almost everybody who's defending Trump used to criticize Obama. It's just the way it goes. You got yin yang. So stop saying stupid stuff like that, right? Are you
Yeah.
awake under there?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna keep these videos a little more short on the short side going forward, and but looking forward, I think I'm gonna try to get some actual members of Cherry Pie other than myself to participate and give their view on the behind the scenes of the band that we've talked about in past
Kevin?
episodes. Kevin, yeah, Kevin would be good. Kevin's got the dirt on all of us, so maybe we shouldn't have him on, but no, he'd be good. But yeah, in the first couple episodes, I talked a lot about Cherry Pie's history, behind the scenes, and I think people would enjoy seeing other members speak for themselves on that subject. So hopefully, in the next episode or two, we'll be getting some of that. Now, you you worked for us last summer. You were at a lot of the shows. Do you have any anecdotes or any interesting commentary about behind the scenes at Cherry Pie?
Um, Kevin is a great guy. He looks good. He's funny. I really enjoy him. I think the band enjoys him.
So you're a big Kevin fan.
Who isn't?
Well, Kevin is married. Sorry, all right. Well, it's nice to know that Kevin has made that impression on you or on anyone. No, Kevin is a great guy. Kevin is the guy who he's technically our stage tech. So he usually stands behind Dave's amps during the show, and he actually has a microphone. You actually hear him once in a while singing with us, but he's the guy running around doing all the grunt work that we're way too important to do ourselves now. So maybe yeah. I'll see if he wants to get on the show, but until then, I guess we'll end it now. So thanks again, Brevin, for participating, or I should say, LSD John Lennon.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you out on the road.